Welcome to Anticipating Christ's Return YouTube channel, a place where we can gather together and joyfully anticipate the return of our Lord. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin. In my last video, I went back and talked about President Nelson's talk about strengthening the temple, and it was called The Temple. The Temple and Your Spiritual Foundation. And while I was recording that video, I remembered that I never did a video on the updates to the Salt Lake City Temple. And they have really cool updates. Some are sad because it's not going to be, obviously it's not going to be like the same as it was inside. But I think it's for a really, 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 really good reason. I think there's a really good reason for the changes that they did. So I want to talk about it. I want to look at the pictures. This is from Church Newsroom, and it says, Harmonizing Sacred Past and Future, a look at the Salt Lake City Temple's interior renovation. When visitors enter into the newly renovated Salt Lake City Temple, they will step into a holy place that honors the pioneer past, but better accommodates the worship of God for more people for generations to come. Okay, and there's so many thoughts. Like, I'm debating, like, do I read what they wrote or do I say Anyway, I'll keep reading and then I'll interject when I feel. Okay. Church prophet and President Russell M. Nelson has promised that all upgrades to the temple will emphasize and highlight the life, ministry, and mission of Jesus Christ and his desire to bless every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. Okay, so before we get too far into this, I just want to say, let me go down to the info. They have this infographic right here. So the cool thing about the temple renovation, the Salt Lake City Temple renovation, is that it has, obviously the shape of the temple has stayed the same, but they are putting the building to better use. So they are adding in a baptistry. So they had one baptistry before and they're doubling it, and now there's going to be two. Syracuse Temple, which I grew up in Syracuse, also has two. And I want to say it was actually the first temple to be built to have two baptistries in Syracuse. So yay. But it's cool because there are so many young kids who go and do baptisms before school. So on early out days, and even, or not early out days, I meant to say late start days in high school, kids will go to the temple and do baptisms before. And I even know kids who wake up early in the morning on normal school days and go do baptisms before they go to school. And so the youth are just so strong, and they're doing such a good work. And in fact, I've heard that we need to pick it up as adults because the youth are moving so fast with baptisms, and names are getting stuck. And obviously the endowment is really hard because it's so long and you can only do one, where baptisms you can do 5 to 10, initiatories you can do 5. Granted, it's just a faster process, but anyway, going back to this, there were 13 sealing rooms in the original Salt Lake City Temple, and now they're increasing to 22 sealing rooms, which I just think is so cool because there are so many people who want the Salt Lake Temple to be the place where they get married, but also just think of all of the work that's going to be able to be done in in this temple now. So there is more seating in 5 instruction rooms and a veil room. So there's going to be able to be more people going in and doing initiatories. And then there's lighting upgrades. And then there's, I don't know what this means, but I love so it says historic designs in carpets, fabric, and trims. But I love that they're going for like a darker, like not darker, but like a more vibrant colors. I really love that. Like, I don't know. Anyway. And then the endowment. So this is a big change, like maybe one of the biggest changes. But instead of, so if you guys have ever been inside the Salt Lake City Temple, before there was like so many different rooms. Like I had only been in it once or twice before the renovation. Just because I had, I had the Ogden Temple and the Bountiful Temple that were closer. Now I have Layton and soon to be Syracuse. Like that is crazy that I have 4 temples that are closer to me than Salt Lake City. Like that's just like welcome to Utah, but also they're all full all the time. Like you go to the temple and it's always a full endowment in Utah, it seems like, even at lunchtime. Okay, so the change in the temple is when you before the renovation, you would have a garden room, and then you would have like a world room. I don't know, but like a terrestrial room. I don't know. I don't even remember all the rooms. And then you would like go into a different room, like the veil room, or like anyway, or maybe that was terrestrial. Anyway, garden room, terrestrial room. No, telestial room, terrestrial room. This is painful. I know. I'm sorry. And then you would enter into the veil room, and then the celestial room is after you pass the veil. So you would be like up and moving a lot, and they were live actors. Okay, but like temple workers would like act out the endowment, and that's changing. So it's going to be recorded, and some people are really sad about that. I think it's really cool, and I just think it's like a hastening of the work, because now the endowment is going to be shared in the Salt Lake City Temple in 90 different languages. And I'm sure it's like obviously with the headsets, but it's really interesting too. Some temples, like I know that the Bountiful Temple for sure has a few different sessions where they will have like a session in Spanish, or they'll have a session in, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe another language. Anyway, but they'll have sessions that you can like go to at a certain time every day or like once a week, and it'll be like a Spanish session. So I'm not saying that like they're going to have 90 different sessions, but like the fact that you'll be able to go, or visitors who visit the Salt Lake City Temple, which think of the Olympics if Jesus doesn't come by then, or just people visiting to come and see and see the church, they'll be able to listen to it in their native voice, in their native language, in the Salt Lake City Temple, which is a change because before it was live actors. So anyway, I think that the changes are so good. But I think that there's a deeper meaning to all of this. I think there's a deeper reason, I guess. Maybe not meaning, but a different reason. So in the first, sorry, I'm like scrolling because I want to find it. But in the first bit of this, it says they will step into, so when visitors enter into the renovated Salt Lake City temple, they will step into a holy place that honors their pioneer past and better accommodates the worship of God for more people for generations to come. Okay, so I just think of the changes that were made and how people will be able to enter into the temple. There will be more seating. So when people come to the temple and visit, what I'm getting at and what I'll really say is in the millennium, we know that this temple was renovated to withstand through the millennium. So let me go to where I am getting that. It is in this conference talk that I talked about at the beginning of the temple and your spiritual foundation. So let's see. Okay, we are sparing, so this is a quote from President Nelson. This is back in October 2021. He says, "We are sparing no effort to give this venerable temple, which had become increasingly vulnerable, a foundation that will withstand the forces of nature into the millennium. In like manner, it is now time that we each implement extraordinary measures." Okay, I shared that in my last video, so I didn't want to share the whole quote in this video. But the fact that they are, the initial reason they renovated the Salt Lake City temple was to strengthen the foundation because they had found that there was cracks. He says earlier, so he kind of talks about it, but he goes, the foundation of any building. Now as I witness what modern engineers, architects, and construction experts can do to reinforce the original foundation, I am truly amazed. Their work is astonishing. The foundation of any building, particularly one as large as this, must be strong and resilient enough to withstand earthquakes, corrosion, high winds, and the inevitable settling that affects all building. The complex task of strengthening now underway will reinforce the sacred temple with the foundation that can stand the test of time. So the original reason to renovate this temple was to make the foundation stronger and to make it withstand erosion, earthquakes, winds, settling, all the things that happen because of the world that we live in. Well, I also don't think it is by chance that they changed this temple to hold more people, to do more work, to do it in more languages, and to just really welcome in people to come, to flock to the temple, to enter in and to be productive. They could have kept all the different rooms and had it be like a slower process and only a few people could go in, I mean, there was plenty of seating, but the fact that they have made more seating, more rooms to do things, it just feels a hastening. And if you don't think that there's a hastening in that, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I feel like your eyes are closed because this temple, while they did strengthen the foundation, as I say, spiritual foundation, they did strengthen the foundation, and that was a major thing. But they made it so that when people come to this temple, they can be productive and that names can happen faster. And you think about the millennium and the purpose of the millennium and how what we will be doing in the millennium is the work of God and the salvation of souls. And we will be doing this work a lot in the temple, in the house of the Lord, where these covenants and ordinances are made. And so the fact that they are hastening this Salt Lake City temple for people to enter into more and get more work done and in the language. And I don't know how language is going to be in the millennium, but I think it's cool that until the millennium, we as humans on earth will be able to enter in, and there will be 90 languages that people can do their work from. They will literally be able to hear the gospel taught, because the gospel is taught in the temple. They will be able to hear it taught in their language, in church headquarters. I wanted to say like in Zion, and I don't know how that's going to work out, but it just feels very millennial, feels very Zion-like, that we will all be able to sit in a room and understand in our own tongue. I am honestly thrilled for the changes, and I think that they have done a good job in honoring the pioneers and their service, but I also fully believe that those who built the temple, the pioneers who looked forward to this temple, I think they would be thrilled at the hastening of the work, that they did the best they could with what they had then, and it was amazing and it was astounding. And like really, it was before their time, all these temples. But I also know that they are rejoicing in this renovated temple, and that the work of God is hastening. And I especially feel, and it's interesting how the Spirit teaches me, and I always pray that I'll be able to convey it the way that it comes, and I'm never able to. But you think of those pioneers and our ancestors who have gone before us, whether they're pioneers or whether they're our parents or our grandparents. But you think of the work that they are doing on the other side of the veil, and they are teaching, and they are preparing these souls to receive the gospel and to receive this opportunity to receive their ordinances in the house of the Lord. And so while we may be sad that the temple isn't going to be exactly the way that pioneers built it back then, I truly, truly believe that they are just so happy that more work is going to be done for the souls whom they have taught and they have learned to love, and that they will be able to, these pioneers who built the Salt Lake City temple originally, will be able to witness more souls get their work done after teaching them. It's such a beautiful vision to try and think about, to think of the work that we're doing here on this side of the veil and the work that they are doing on the other side of the veil, and how in the house of the Lord these two sides connect, and the veil is lifted, and the work is done, and God's purposes are being fulfilled. And it's just, it brings the Spirit into my life just thinking about it. So I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just love you guys, and I hope what I have to bring to the table, even though it's just like my little meager offering, I feel like I'm just like the widow bringing her 2 mites, and I am always amazed that people actually listen. But I do this because I just love the gospel of Jesus Christ. I love him. I'm looking forward to Christ's return, and I want to bring as many people with me as possible. And I think, like, I love to just geek out and nerd out on these cool things, because I think there is meaning in everything that we are doing. Every spiritual thing that we are doing, I think there is meaning. And whether there is or not, I love to see I love to look for the eternal perspective, and I love to look for, things with spiritual lenses on. I think too many times we look at the world with worldly eyes, and I like to just, on this channel, try to look at things with spiritual eyes and the way that God sees things. So I hope it's helpful for you. I hope that you guys never think I'm, I don't know, like, I know that it may be weird from a worldly standpoint to look at things with spiritual eyes, but we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to stand out and be in the world but not of the world. And I think by looking at things with spiritual eyes, we do that. So anyway, thank you so much. I love you all so much, and I hope you have a great day.